Hey y'all, hey, it's Kimmy, your favorite chef and culinary bestie, and I want to welcome you to Between Bites, my newest segment on my At the Kitchen Table channel. Hey y'all, here we're going to eat good food and we're going to chat about food and all of the things, so grab your plate, pull up a chair, and let's get chatting. So, I made some risotto alla Milanese, which is a saffron risotto in essence. I love me some good Italian food, and since I used to run Italian restaurants in the city for about 3 years, every now and again I test my skills to see if I still got it. Let me get a bite while it's nice and hot and see. Now, risotto alla Milanese is from the Lombardy region of Italy, and traditionally it's either a primi piatti or a first course, or it could be a side dish to a nice rich osso buco. My favorite way to do it is with a rich bone marrow. I could butter, but your girl ain't had any of those things today. So I just went with this beautiful seared shrimp and a simple gremolata. So boom, check it. So I remember the first time that I made this particular type of risotto. It was like 2017, 2018, when I was still a sous chef at Italy. You know, the Italian marketplace and restaurant dine around hub. And I can still hear my executive sous chef at the time talking about making sure that the risotto jiggled a little in the bowl right before it hit the expo window. He had really distinct opinions about what the other restaurants served as risotto. But anyway, as I was making it today, right, I got to thinking about how often these sorts of dishes end up being featured in elevated dining or fine dining, but then how other cultures, particularly like ethnic cultures or especially African diasporic cuisine, how often they end up being left as either open to interpretation or never showcased at all. So let's eat and talk about it right quick. Here's a question for you to think about. What does it mean when a cuisine is protected versus when it is endlessly reimagined? I think about that all the time. Like all the time. Because if there's one thing I've noticed over time, it's that authenticity often gets determined differently depending on whose cultural food it is. Especially when it comes time to give credit. Or, run them coins. You know what I mean? So, you may not know this yet because you're just learning me, right? But I have ADHD. So, a lot of times, the connections that my mind makes about things when I think about them, it just seems really, really random. But I promise you it'll be making sense. So, when I start talking about egusi, don't be surprised, all right? So, I've been seeing a lot of folks lately on the interwebs wanting to try a lot of different African foods, specifically egusi and fufu. Like everybody and their mama wants to try egusi and fufu. But what is egusi and what is fufu? Let's talk about it real quick. So egusi is a dense, nutrient-rich stew. It's made from egusi seeds, which are ground melon seeds, and it's super rich in umami from all the seasonings and the offal added to it. And offal is just a technical term for I don't want to say off-brand meats, but like oxtail would be considered offal, smoked turkey necks would be considered offal, and in this case it's smoked fish, cow skin, they add dry shrimp, they add crayfish, etc. right? And it's not likely to be the dish that you find in a Michelin star restaurant yet, right? But it's absolutely one of the most delicious and popular West African dishes to date, and it's beloved by millions of people. And so when I started seeing it all over the interwebs, I started to get worried. This is the part where I start to worry because, yeah, how do we say it? So, what happens when someone decides to try to elevate a culturally significant dish like that and then put it on fine dining? See this hot mess right here?
Dolly, however you want name. Stop this foolishness now. No, stop this. Which part of this a Jamaican style jerk chicken? Which part? Please somebody show me. Me not say which part of that a jerk chicken. No weapon of chicken and no jerk yet.
Do y'all see that? Dole. Friend, if y'all are listening, please know I'm never letting y'all forget this one. Never, ever, ever. Like, every time I see it, the Caribbean in me does get vexed. I'm guessing that because, well, let me just explain real quick what happened. In 2018, Dole put out a recipe for jerk chicken salad, and that was the recipe. And I'm guessing because jerk chicken sometimes gets served with a side of plantain, they went with bananas because bananas are more readily accessible and they sell bananas. Like, you know, let me pin that cultural accessibility combo for another time. I'm gonna remember that. But baby, they put that recipe out strong and confident, and they got chewed out. You hear me? The backlash was so swift and so severe that they deleted the recipe, never to be seen again. But the internet's forever. But like, I think about these things, right? And I think about how often our cultural dishes get lent to interpretation and commodification without credit, but then it's still not good enough to be recognized as fine dining. What part of the game is that? So I just want to be clear. I'm not at all saying that African diasporic food isn't good enough to be recognized. Not at all. Our food's phenomenal. I know that. It's not what I'm saying. I just always wondered who sets the trend and the example, right? Like, who determines what is considered fine dining from what isn't? That's my question. So one of the things I talk about all the time, is the Michelin star list. And did you know that Black-owned restaurants didn't even start being acknowledged by them until 2020, around the surge of Black Lives Matter? Things that make you go, And then, right, I saw this reel from the Chef's Cut podcast, and apparently they feel the same way I do. Check it out.
Michelin is, it seems, so Eurocentric. Are they racist or are they cuisinist? Because there are Black chefs that have Michelin stars. There's 4 in the U.S. 4 in the US. And the Black chefs that did have Michelin stars were doing Japanese and Eurocentric styles. Tatiana was the #1 restaurant in New York by the New York Times 2 years in a row, nothing from Michelin. Dakar in New Orleans, nothing from Michelin. Kabawa, racking up accolades left and right, nothing from Michelin. That's wild.
Ain't that crazy? Ooh, I just got makeup on myself, y'all. Don't pay me no mind. But I've always maintained that Black culture, creativity, essence, soul is used to aid in a non-Black business's profit, and then the originator is discarded once their purpose is expired. So just like even the fact that it wasn't until the Black Lives Matter movement surged in 2020 that any Black-owned restaurants were even acknowledged, because I like to keep it a buck, there are still none with a Michelin star. Like, they're Black chefs with a Michelin star, but no Black restaurants. And they're just acknowledging a list on the website. That's really telling. And the real question is, what's the story that tells about culture, power, and belonging? Just something to think about. Anywho, I wrote a lot about this very thing, and you can find it here on my Substack. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go finish enjoying my risotto. I'm gonna clean up a little and have this glass of wine. I'll see you soon.